If you ever had a client ask 1,000 questions, or maybe they weren't sending you files on time, or things were just taking way too long to maybe pay an invoice, or just get the project moving. If you've had this experience, then I think it's time to start looking at your client process, because a lot of the times we have to have a little bit of onboarding and continued conversations with our clients, and a way to make this super easy is to use Trello. Hi creatives, today we're going to talk about project management, and what I think is so great about this topic is we're basically trying to automate as much as possible. There are so many times when I thought, okay, I've made a proposal that has the perfect timeline, everything is outlined, now they will understand exactly what they need to do at each point in time. But the truth is, a lot of clients, when they look at a proposal, they might skim sections like timelines and go straight to budgets and your, let's say, portfolio work. So what we want to do is to have a system where we can have easy access for them to continuously understand what's happening, and for them to be able to see an overview of the whole project at once. And this is where Trello comes in. So you can do this in lots of different tools. I have another video on Notion, for example, that you can have a look at as well when it comes to your internal planning. But I want to share today about Trello and how to set up a branding project. Before we jump into the setup, which you can also see in the blog, a complete outline of all of the sections, I'll put that down in the description. I also want to say that having something like Trello where you're organizing everything in one place is also a really good way for keeping all of those messy email conversations or phone calls and things like that. All those conversations can be in Trello. So you have files, you have conversations, you have presentation slides that you upload after a presentation. So everything's in one place, easy to find, both for you and your clients. Okay, so let's go jump into the setup. So the way I recommend you do this is you create this once, and whenever you have a new branding project, all you do is you duplicate this one empty project. That way you don't have to actually set this up more than once, and you have everything ready to go. So what I have done is I've set up a column for each stage of the process. So we have before we start, discovery, research, design concepts, finalizing the work, handoff, and then finally support. And so this is a way that we can actually structure things in a way that makes sense for your workflow. So your sections might be looking a little bit different, but I'll take you through what's in each of mine. So before we start, this is all part of the onboarding. So things like signing the design agreement, paying the invoice, and looking at the proposal. So I like to attach the proposal as part of the slide here. You can also make any amendments or put budgets and things like that in the description itself. The good thing about having it attached here is that you always know your client has easy access to the document if they have any questions. Next up, we have discovery, and so here we use a tool called Brief. So I like to first add the discovery meeting link. So adding, for example, a link to our meeting room and writing a little bit of a meeting agenda. This is just so that basically people will understand what's expected from the meeting, and if they have any preparing to do, they can do that well in advance. I also have a space for them to put their own background research if that's something we're doing separately, but we might also do that together in the discovery document. And finally, once the meeting is done, I upload the discovery document to this file or this card here. Next up, we have the research stage, and this is where we look into things like personas and competitors and market positioning. And so here, I want to make sure we have defined what are the research questions that we want to answer. And if you feel like, okay, this is a document that doesn't actually fit, or you're using an external tool, then you can just add a link here. For the actual research meeting, I again add like a link to the meeting room, any sort of notes on what's supposed to happen in the meeting. And I upload the research report and the presentation slides once that is all finished from my perspective. In this case, we also had wireframes that we're going to complete for a project as part of the research stage, and so we put that here as well. So you'll see it's very modular. You can just add a card for any stage to customize the actual project. When it comes to concepting, here I think it's really good to again go with the structure of information for the meeting, what we talked about in the meeting, and then any sort of designs or concepts that you have. I also have iterations in this part here, and actually brand guidelines is also part of this here. because what I have in the finalizing work section is just the 50% second deposit, or if you have a 25 last bit. And then also I like to upload a receipt so that they have that. The final two sections are the handoff, where I just create a link to the final designs and add that to the description. And you can write a little comment saying, hey, everything is now accessible here since they have paid for the final work. This last one I think is a really nice addition because it's basically an offboarding. So when you created the project, most likely your clients are not that aware of all of your different services. So I also like to attach a little bit of a support document that's basically saying, hi, thank you so much for working together. This has been such a nice project. Here's where you can leave a review for our company, and here are some additional services that I think could be a good idea for you. This list that you're giving them in the handoff package of other services that you provide, it can either be a very general list of things that you think are helpful to people who've just gone through branding, or since you know them so well through the branding project now, you might know that, for example, you need LinkedIn template posts, or maybe you need a Pinterest strategy or a website design. So this is a great opportunity to show the breadth of work that you do and a way for you to keep working together and do a little bit of upselling. If you're curious about how to organize your own business doing project management, you can also go check out my video on Notion, which is all about how to use Notion to organize your own back end of your studio or agency. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your project and see you next time.